Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome back to video number 4. I'm going to be doing a back workout tonight. We're going to be doing width and thickness all together. I'm going to try to switch things up in my routine a little bit to where I'm only doing back on the back day and I'm not going to do biceps. And same thing with chest. I was doing chest and triceps before. I'm going to try to have arms just on basically it's just designated one day. I mean, I was doing that before to where I just had biceps and triceps in one day. And then I was trying to split it apart between back and chest. But I really don't want to do that. I really want to be able to put all my emphasis into back and then chest, just really focus on that. And so, I mean, I might still, for chest, I might still do look like a close grip bench in there. But for back movements, I'm going to be doing a lot of thickness, a lot of off the floor stuff. We're doing T-bar rows, deadlifts, and bent over barbell rows, and one arm dumbbell rows. Some seated cable pulley rows, or it's kind of like a seated T-bar with the cable. I do that. And then I'll do a wide grip pull down row to the front, and also I'll use that same T-bar on a close grip pull down. I don't know if that's the exact term for that bar, but that's what most of us use it for. We for T-bar, you wrap it around the bar and hold on to it on each side. So yeah, I am using my wife's RAV4 today, my wife Autumn. Yeah, I got done with my workout the other day, and I didn't get 2 minutes away from here, and my Ford F-250, 7.3 power stroke, just decided to quit working on me, which is pretty rare. It's a very good vehicle, and ready to replace the ICP on it, and there's been some codes that keep going up. So I ended up realizing that a lot of the codes that were going off with the check engine light were like indirectly being caused from, what is it called? The camshaft. It's like a CPS. It's like a sensor that you plug in, and there's like a little magnet in there. And over the years, if that wears out, basically you can have power surges, misfires, and so your truck thinks that well, there's something wrong with the transmission, or there's something wrong with the ICP. So it's like indirectly causing all those other things, even though the main problem was basically that CPS circuit. So I have that order, and that's going to be coming through. So it's a little nicer driving my wife's small car. It's a little quieter. I like to call these cars from point A to point B. You get there, they look nice. You get in them, and they get you from point A to point B. For a truck, it's just you pay for wherever you go because of the amount of money you put in gas. And since mine's diesel, over in Vancouver in the Portland area, diesel's still around $5 a gallon. So 25 gallons, even though it's a small tank, still looking over $100 to fill up. So yeah, waiting on that part to rise, then we can get back into that truck. But yeah, got here a little earlier tonight and doing the same thing that I did last time, to where I'm just gonna start filming before I get into the gym already here. So I don't have to worry about setting it up and filming as it's raining or it's dark, and then keep the overhead lights on like this. And it's just, there's a lot of law enforcement around, and so I don't think it's illegal. I don't believe it is, but you never know. I mean, if it's a distraction, they might pull you over. And honestly, if I was law enforcement, I would probably pull someone over. It's like, hey, what's going on? This could be dangerous. People see a bright light and they drive by and they want to look inside to see what's going on in your car. So I'm going to start doing this more often, and hopefully in a week or so, we're going to get all of that situated with my truck, get that fixed. And lo and behold, the next day after my truck failed, all of a sudden I realized that my tooth is hurting so bad, and my bottom right molar way back there, I know I have to get a root canal. And like the very next day I woke up because it's all in pain. I'm like, well, when it rains, it pours. Literally, it was raining and pouring when we had that gentleman came over and get with his tow truck. It was close to 3 a.m. when that gentleman got over here to take care of it. Really, really nice guy though. So pull the truck up like nothing on his big platform truck and then drive it home. And it's funny, through my the auto insurance that I have, there was a system error, so it couldn't even do the roadside assistance. So had to pay someone right out of pocket, and then we'll have to get the receipt and put our information on there and get it mailed back into our auto company to get our insurance to reimburse us for that. But Man, it's like if you didn't have money aside for sometimes it's just a pickle. I mean, you got to pay things out of pocket. You really get in trouble fast. But sadly, as I was kind of thinking about it the other day, I mean, money really does make the world go round. I mean, sometimes things that aren't for sale, if you add another zero to it, all of a sudden, like, oh, people want to sell it to you then. I mean, I don't want to say, I mean, obviously I put my trust in the Lord, and I mean, money's great. It's not everything, but it certainly makes a lot of things easier in life. At least that's my opinion. So hopefully, Lord willing, I'll have a little bit more money sooner or later. So, all right, well, let's get in there and do a back workout. And I see a couple other cars here since we got here. It's about 9:10 p.m. right now. And so wanted to get here a little earlier since the other night when I was here, all hell broke loose with my truck breaking down. And then my wife, she had to bring our little 1.5-year-old with her and drive over and pick me up. I mean, I guess I could have gotten a ride home for the tow truck driver, but, I'm sitting on the side of the road in the pitch black trying to contact the tow truck driver, and I'm still like a third out into the lane because the side of the road wasn't big enough. So anyway, the tow truck driver, when he got there, he had a cop actually pull behind us and put his lights on. So God bless the men in blue. Thank you for doing that the other day. I was terrified that someone was going to see us and think, oh, what's his flashers on for? And maybe not slow down enough and then plow into the back of my truck. I mean, that could have been, it's a large truck. Would have probably totaled their vehicle and could have hurt someone. And so, all right, well, let's get in there and get to it. Thanks, guys, for joining in. All right, we get started with some bent over rows. A few warm-up sets already in. All right. Okay, next set, we got 185 on here. And like I said, even though there's different ways to do an exercise. I mean, I do it a certain way and other people do it more strict. This is what I like. This is what works. All right, 185, let's go. All right, got 225 in here. It's starting to go up. Got 225 or 275, sorry, on here now. Moving up in the weight. Gonna try to get between 5 and 8 reps. We'll see how this goes. Okay. We'll stop with that. All right, now we're going to do some T-bar rows. We're already warmed up with 1 plate. Now we're going to warm up with 2. And I kind of perform this exercise the same way as I do the bent over row. I'll do like a heave motion. It's not perfect, but it works for me. Just monitor your back. If you feel anything in your back, wear a belt. And there's nothing wrong with slowing it down. If you want to put 25s in here to get a bigger range of motion, there's other exercises that I do to get that range of motion. Here it's more of a power movement, and it's kind of the same thing with deadlifts. I mean, if you wanted to get a bigger range of rep, you could put 25s on there instead of putting 45s, so you're closer to the ground. But this is what I like to do. So let's roll with it. Make sure you keep your back nice and like almost like arched, like you're trying to like pop your middle back. Almost kind of, you just keep your chest up and you're arched as you take it up, because the most vulnerable part of this exercise is picking it off the floor. All right, here we go. There we go. So. We'll go to 3 plates. Okay. Three plates. Oh. All right. Got 4 plates. All right, now we're using 5 plates. I'm gonna start using my wraps now, so I can actually hold on to this thing. Okay, let's do this. Especially as you go heavier, making sure you start the movement out right. Getting up there nice with your back straight. Feels like it's arched. Okay, moving on to 6 plates. This will probably be my last set of the T-bar. This gets heavy fast. All right. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna continue on with a deadlift and see how taxed our back actually is to do these. Those T-bar bent over rows take a lot out of me. You can always slow down the reps too, to make it feel like it's doing more. Sometimes a little safer as well. Set number 2. And also I like to do an overhand grip with these, so I don't have to worry about pulling anything really hard on my bicep. Another way I like to do these is resting for a split second on the bottom. which prevents you from bouncing and getting that momentum. And also, as I'm coming down, and I'll show it in another set here, I'll control it going down my knees, over my knees, and then down my shins, but still keeping my back straight as I'm going down. So you don't see any curving. Just when I set it down here, I control it. And I do the same thing with my stiff leg deadlifts. Slight bend, and I just keep the bar. It feels like when I do this, it's like I'm almost kind of pressing in on itself toward my back seems like it's going like this. This feels safer, keeps this tight. And yeah, it's more wear and tear and you'll have more fatigue in your lower back. But over time, that'll strengthen your core and it'll be safer. You don't have to worry about anything round coming up and blowing a disc or anything like that. Okay, I'll show you guys from the side what I mean about going tight to the legs and over the knees and then down the shins. So the camera is nice, it'll follow me and you'll see it. Get my wraps on here, my handy dandy chic wraps, which I love, especially with these movements. I don't want to be restricted by my grip. Okay, I'll put my thumbs over the top of my wraps so I don't squash my thumbs. So a lot of people when they go up, they're going like this stuff. But really, same thing when I was doing the T-bar, starting it out right to where you feel like you're pressing up, chest is up. And I keep this right against my shins and pull up. So, okay, here we go. Up, over the knees, up the thighs, down, over the knees to the shins. Same thing. And slow it down, it feels safer. And you can slow down your negative too. You don't need to go fast. Because even when you're slowing down the negative, you can still build a lot of muscle doing that negative part. I already got 275 on here. 2 wraps, hands over the bar. Same thing with my thumbs, so I don't squash my thumbs with my shins. All right, here we go. I'm gonna slowly do these two. And this is already feel. Last set felt heavy. His back is already spent. And slow. Do one more. Moving on to our next exercise, we're going to do one arm dumbbell rows. I'm going to start off with 55s for some feel sets. All right. Moving on to the 70s. And I like to put my hand up here to really assist. Moving on to 80s. Whew. I think we'll move on to the 105s. Just so I don't have to move the dumbbell jungle gym around to get to the hundreds. Here we go. Yeah. 12 for one. Do that for another. And sometimes I'll slow down the reps, especially when I get heavy, as I start to feel that my back is more vulnerable. And just in that little angle when you twist, I don't want to pull anything. I don't really like to use belts on this. It's just my preference. I'd much rather be able to do them without it. Okay. Here we go. Whew. Man. Try to figure out what we want to go up to next. Maybe we can find a 120 or something. Gonna use a 125 here. See what that feels like. Since we got 12 reps with 105. Probably slow down the reps here just a little bit. Okay. All right, here we go. There's no screwing around. Okay. Oh yeah, that feels much better. Eight reps, not bad. Felt good. Felt strong. Felt confident doing that, so it's a good day. Okay. Here we go. You know, the funny thing about doing, you think, oh, the left side's got time to, it's been resting. True, but my core didn't. My core only had one set in it. Okay. All right, we're gonna move on to the next exercise. Ooh, that took everything out of me. I need to look down and see what we're doing. Okay. So seated cable T-bar rows. I'll put that T-bar on the cable machine. Same thing as with the rows, and pull it. Let's see, like pulling it close in. Time to do the seated cable pulley rows with the T-bar. One thing I really like about this is the range of motion. So many of these, it's like you barely go here and you're already racking. This is great. I mean, you can see how far, I mean, my legs are not long by any means. You can see how far this goes. So a huge stretch in the lats. And there's lots of ways to do this exercise too. People don't like to go forward. They just like to go here and go here. Some people like me, I go forward quite a bit. And so there's really no right or wrong way. Just watch your back. If you're doing a lot of heaving and hoeing, you might tweak something, so just be mindful of that. And yeah, there's really no right or wrong way to do this movement. So a little safer than the barbell. When I say barbell, I meant anything that's bent over, like a T-bar, because then you have to be very careful with how you start out your movement. As you're down here and you're rolling your back, you could very well hurt yourself. All right, let's do another one of these. Sometimes just sitting in that stretch is really good to lengthen the lats. This will probably be our last set here. What we got on here? 220. I'll use my wraps on this one. Okay. Sometimes when this gets heavy, I'll just start by just putting both feet on here. And still being careful with my back. One more. Okay, now we're gonna do wide grip pull downs. I'm gonna do it to the front. Already did a few warm-up sets here. Really like to stretch this. So I don't really do as many width exercises that I used to. As I feel a lot of the other exercises, even like the rowing ones, really will fill out the lats. So, I mean, if you ever watch anything with Dorian Yates, he never even did these. He didn't believe in them. I mean, Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, a lot of those guys do. But I still like to do them. I like the stretch a little different, and I'll still do a close grip pull down when I do them. So, here's 120 here. Nothing crazy. Moving on to our next set. Moving on to our next set. Got about 180 on here. love using my wraps on these kind of exercises, so I don't have to rely on my grip. A lot of stretch there. Okay, one more. I'll stretch for a second. Ooh, I just felt my back pop. Now I'll use my T-bar on this to really yank the lats. We'll do that one in a second. This is another really great exercise to really yank the lats. I think I remember reading that with Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day. I think he got his advice from Frank Zane, because he was trying to figure out how to get like the front of the lats better. And Frank Zane said he did a lot of these. They basically go, I'm not doing it on a pull-up bar, but they put it over a pull-up bar and just basically pull themselves all the way up. So Arnold and Franco Colombo, Arnold's training partner, they used to do these all the time. And this is really good because this machine really lets you stretch, so you don't have to really, because some of these will just rack, so you have to go back so far. But this is really good, really stretch. And yank the lats. So with these, it's like you almost have to aim with your elbows and how you pull, not with your arms. As you pull it down, you're like, yeah, it's hard to do to visualize. It's similar to a machine pullover. Actually lower this just a little bit because I did rack there. More of these. There we go. Okay. 140 now. Now you don't have to use a lot of weight in this exercise to make it feel like you're doing something. Very different exercise. Very much different from like a close grip pull down or like a pull up. Okay. Okay, our last set. And this is heavier now. It's really pulling me up to where it actually will rack if I try to have my hands all the way up. So I'm going to keep a slight bend in my elbows. So even though it's not as full range of motion, I feel a different kind of stretch on that part of the lats. So we're going to do that. I'm not going to go all the way to the top, just so I don't rack, because even right now I'm racking. So we'll go down a little, start like right here. Feel it already. do some shots here. Oh, God, what I did was with the light. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for following along today. If you liked the video, just like and subscribe. Really appreciate. Yeah, and comment to boost that algorithm. Tell me what you guys want and what you guys would like to see. I'm all about switching things up. I think we had a pretty darn good workout tonight. Got to do our T-bar rows, and we had 6 45s on there. And got to do 1-arm dumbbell rows and got to use 125s. Both deadlifts and bent over barbell rows, I'm still trying to increase the weight, but it doesn't seem like I need to use a lot of weight to get the job done. So still trying to stay in a calorie deficit. It's hard because it's pumpkin spice season. There's pumpkin pie at home, and my wife wants to make pumpkin muffins. So in order for us to get rid of those calories, we're basically going to have to eat them. And if I'm going to be in a calorie deficit, I'm not going to be able to eat that much more throughout the day. So I'll have to keep the protein content high and be careful. So I don't think there's anything wrong with splurging as long as you're careful and you monitor it and try to play around with your meals to make sure you're staying in a deficit. I was 195 a couple weeks ago, and I'm now about 200, a little over 200 pounds. So trying to stay in a calorie deficit, but it's very easy. My body wants to be obese. My body wants to be like 255, and it's not healthy for my heart. So I'm really trying to dial that in. I've never competed before, so I'm not a professional in the sense to dieting and shredding and getting on stage. There are better people out there to watch. This is something I'm learning and have learned by trial and error. Even though I'm not a professional, I have lost about 50 pounds just by simply staying in a deficit and keeping my step count up. So there's a lot there to be said. I don't think you have to do truckloads of cardio to get the job done. You can, and it's phenomenal for the heart. Don't get me wrong, cardio is wonderful for the heart. So when people say, well, it's useless to do because as long as you're in a calorie deficit, you really don't need to do it. I'm like, well, that's true. And you will lose weight if you're eating like a rabbit. Even if you weren't losing body fat from the cardio, it's phenomenal for your heart, and your body will thank you later on, trust me. So that's a scary thing about the heart and blood pressure. A lot of these symptoms are like silent killers. You don't know there's a problem until symptoms happen. You know, you hear people, old folks, getting frustrated or mad, and all of a sudden they have a heart attack or a stroke or something. I'm like, so you tell me that if I'm not healthy and I laugh too hard at a comedy, I might have a stroke or a heart attack? I'm definitely going to try to do my cardio and stay healthy, even if it's not helping me lose body fat much. All right, well, thank you guys so much again for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.